It's been 4 years since the tragedy occurred at Mother Emanuel AME Church here in downtown Charleston. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with notable artist Jonathan Green one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Listen to this interview Wednesday on my free Quintin's Close-Ups iHeartRadio podcast. And of course, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Jonathan Green, it's so good to see you here back on Quintin's Close-Ups.
Well, thank you, Quintin. It's a pleasure to be back.
Oh, thank you greatly. And thank you for your time. I know you're extremely busy. If you had an art book right here, what would you draw about your life right now?
What I would probably draw about my life would be a huge field of wild flowers and marshland grasses. Big skies.
Big skies. Is that the next project in your mind?
No, but it's just how I feel. I feel natural and in touch and authentic about who I am and what I've done in 40 years of, making art and making art about what I want to make it about and not be so concerned about what people think of me and certainly not that concerned about what they think about my art.
40 years ago to right now, what is the biggest difference about art?
Probably the biggest difference is the technological aspect to the arts, which I remember very clearly when I was a student at the School of the Arts in the middle 70s, how it was coming on hand. And for me, it was sort of like I understood technology from the perspective of it being a tool to help. But when the technology has become the replacement for hundreds of thousands of years of people making art, be it in the caves, on buildings, on paper, you just can't replace the human touch.
In touch. What are you in touch with when you look around Charleston right now?
When I look around Charleston, I walk around Charleston with the greatest ease and joy because I feel so fortunate that I am living in a living museum of my culture, my West African roots, the culture of European roots, the culture of the indigenous people. But that only happens not because of what is here and now, but it's when you read about history and you do some aspect of a research, just to be inquisitive as to how you have arrived here, where did you come from, why are you here, rather than whom brought you here, why are you here, what have you done, and you can always learn about people from from the aspect of work, what they have done in their lives.
In their lives. You talk about obviously reading about history and doing research. It's been 4 years now since the tragedy at Mother Emanuel AME Church, which 9 African American people were murdered. If you would go back 4 years ago to now, what would you read about that particular tragedy?
What I would read about, what I would see within what has not really been written.
That's exactly right.
Is that what happened at Mother Emanuel isn't that removed from our own history in terms of the lack of inclusion of West Africa in the landscape of Charleston and South Carolina. You only see it in the people, the color of their skin. But so seldom do we really give notice to what they have done. When you walk around this beautiful city, most of the buildings, the materials were gathered and made by West Africans. Buildings were built and maintained for the Historical Society by West Africans. So that's what I look at. When I leave the city and I drive along Highway 17 or 26, and I see the signs of plantations, then I know that again is a testament and a monument to my West African culture.
Again, 4 years ago to right now, if you could have an art book and design, obviously what happened 4 years ago to now, what would you draw?
What I would draw probably would be the story of how people were able to come together under the most oppressive and difficult situation, which is the murder. I wouldn't draw about the murder.
Right.
I would draw about how people have come together as a result of it,
Right.
but how they've come together. And there's much more of a lasting beauty for me to know that people, black and white, are capable of coming together in time of need. Now, if I had another chapter to go in the book, the chapter would be about the sustainability of togetherness.
You talk about people coming together. How do they stay together?
People stay together by looking each other in the face, saying good morning, having a conversation, maybe just eating next to someone you don't know in a restaurant, someone from a different race, different social background. I mean, we both need to take advantage of these opportunities because we're going to find that we are so much more alike than we are different. And then we can deal with a lot of the residual issues such as politics, such as religion, such as education, because those are the really strong points of forward change. And they need to be held accountable.
What else should be held accountable in your mind when it comes to those residual issues?
I think what should be held accountable is the history of what and how it happened, and all of the magnificent artwork that has been poured into Mother Emanuel, from artists expressing themselves, how they feel. There should be a respect for that and what it meant for people to have done what they've done. I take it as cataloged, put somewhere. But there should be exhibitions around the areas in different schools of what people have put together in reference to Mother Emanuel. That's a memory and that's a testimony.
I know, let's fast forward to October. I know that you have a couple of other important projects coming up. If you could write another book, what would the title be of your next project?
Well, the title of my next project are Dugout Canoes. And I'm painting about dugout canoes because, around here they're not that visible. But dugout canoes, then it gives people sort of a keyhole into the aquaculture of West Africa. And without the aquaculture of West Africa, the supplies could not have been delivered from or taken on to vessels. The dugout canoe is made from one piece of wood or a tree, so it's much more resistant to the pressures of waves. And the military and royal family of West Africa used dugout canoes that could carry upwards of 100 people, supplies throughout West Africa and into the interior of West Africa. So we had really misled and misunderstood a major aspect of history, and that is navigable transportation, aquatic transportation.
How did you get here with the dugout canals?
Well, I'm always reading and interested in my friends from around the country. We exchange reading materials back and forth. And Richard and I were on the internet and we saw this book, The Aquatic Life of West African People. And I was just so fascinated with it. And in reading the book, I have it here somewhere, it's right there.
Oh, yes.
Undercurrents of Power. And I became very fascinated with aquatic transportation and how much it moves. It's just like a highway. You know, so like if I have a lot of understanding, appreciation for Highway 17, 26, and 21, then I have to have appreciation for the transportation of the dugout. And that is helping me to better understand history and culture, what happened, and just that power force, and then how that was transferred into the cross-Atlantic sailing vessels, because they used the West Africans as slavers meaning, you know, working on a ship. Salvers is the word. And those salvers became sailors, and they became lifeguards, and they repaired the ships, and they did all the undercurrent work.
Undercurrent work. Transportation. How would you draw that in the next 5-10 years here in Charleston?
I'm going to draw it by just implementing the canoe in just about everything I do for the next 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. What are you going to be doing next in the next 3 or 4 years?
Well, I'll always be painting.
Yes.
That's my love. And then I have my little fashion design projects.
Yes.
And then we have this another project called the Lunchbox. And I remember lunchboxes as a kid. Everybody had a lunchbox. But we're making it more decorative with my image on the cover.
Right.
And some decorativeness around it.
Yes.
And so we have already launched it. And we just can't keep the numbers. And we are helping to assist retired people with jobs, because they're helping us with these projects. And so it's a great win-win for everybody.
For everybody. If you had a lunchbox here right now and you were to open up to me, what would that be in there?
Well, it would be nothing in there because I don't keep anything. But there is a mirror, and it is lined with felt and ready to be used. And this is what you would find in it.
Wow.
So here we have the lunchbox, and it's made out of pine wood. And you know, pine is very important for us here, but pine also has a universal stories behind it. And the pine was used for a lot of the dugout canoes.
Wow.
And so, and this has my image on it. So you get you see the back of it.
Right.
And these are just, you know, it gives people an opportunity to talk about something of value, from the painting to the history of the pine box to the economics of the materials in terms of, you know, living right here in a pine forest.
Yes.
We all do. And so hopefully it gives people a better appreciation for all those things.
How could I buy that right now?
You can get it online. Oh, I gotta get a number.
Oh, no worries. And I'll put this on the website as well.
Yeah, look, they're just texting me like crazy. Let's see. I'll just ask her.
Okay.
Okay, what number do I use if someone wants to order? What do I tell people that want to order? I'm being interviewed, and I show them the lunchbox. So what do I tell them?
843 790 32. And what's the other last two numbers?
3233.
3233.
I need to write that down myself. Okay, thank you. I'll talk to you later.
This is a live interview here.
Ain't better than that.
Yes.
So that would be the information. And you know, I mean, because I'm an artist, it's rarely shown in galleries, and so the business side I usually speak to other people. But I just enjoy going through the process.
What else are you processing right now in your life?
I'm processing aging because I am, you know, celebrating being a senior citizen.
You don't look it.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm celebrating.
I know, right?
And just loving being here in Charleston and participating in things and being sort of like a resource material. I'm very excited about being on board of the International African American Museum, and really excited to have young Elijah Haywood III here as our COO. And I'm excited about being on the Middleton Place Board of Trustees, because again, it's one thing to talk about history, but you have to really be a part of it and see its operation and the operation of history and what people have actually done. And it just makes you feel so valued as a person. You know, I mean, I don't wait to get my okays from people. I get my okays from how I feel about myself.
That's right. That's right. That's so amazing. Well, the Honorable Jonathan Green, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
My pleasure, Quintin. Anytime. Thanks
you.
for catching up and giving me another chapter in your collection of stories.
Oh, anytime. Anything for you. You're a legend around here.
Okay, well, then I'm going to take it.
Oh, yes, sir.